Who is he speaking to? Who is God talking to when he says, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I'm well pleased"? Could it be Jesus? But that wouldn't make sense. Surely if he was speaking to Jesus, he wouldn't say, "This is my beloved Son." He'd say, "You are my beloved Son." And it's curious that we've just listened to Matthew's gospel version of this story, but if you're to look in Mark's gospel or Luke's gospel, that's exactly what the voice of God says. "You are my beloved Son." So, in saying "you are my beloved Son," I suppose it's something about how we're hearing an echo of a conversation between the Father and his eternal Son. And I suppose that's a message to us about what goes on in Jesus' ministry, that he is in conversation with his Father as he carries out his great work. And here the Father says to his Son that he loves him. But it's not addressed to Jesus. So who is being spoken to by the words, "This is my beloved Son"? Is it John the Baptist? Is it confirming something that John has had an inkling of? After all, we just heard that when Jesus came to him for baptism, and remember, John was practicing a baptism of repentance, part of the tradition of Judaism. They had these ritual washings regularly, and in doing so, they saw themselves as washing away their sins. And so when Jesus comes to John for baptism, he's coming in line after a whole load of people have said, "I am a sinner, have mercy on me." And they go down into the water, and they're symbolically washed. Their sins are washed away. And John says, it's not right. It shouldn't be me baptizing you. It should be the other way around, you baptizing me. He has some inkling. And so is this a confirmation to John? In which case, why did Jesus say, well, we'll keep in line with what's been done? I suppose there's an idea of continuity, that Jesus sees himself as in part of a great line of spirituality in which humanity relates to God and asks for his healing and mercy. And Jesus, as the exemplary human being, asks for mercy for us all. There's something of that. There may be more. It may be that "This is my beloved Son" is being addressed to the people who are there. There seem to have been lots of people who went to John for baptism, and perhaps there's a great crowd. In other words, this voice is revealing who Jesus is to the people. This voice is telling them that he is the only Son, the eternally begotten Son, all that we've been celebrating during this season of Christmas, that God has taken human form, become one of us, the Son of God, the eternal Son of God. Well, there's something in that perhaps. But of course, the whole point about telling the story of the baptism of the Lord, and there was an echo of it, for example, in the prayer at the beginning of Mass, is that the baptism that John has been carrying out is from now on to be different. You see, those words, "You are my beloved Son," well, we're being told this partly to remind us that when we are baptized, God has spoken to us and said to each one of us, You are my beloved son. You are my beloved daughter. In you I'm well pleased. Baptism now is changed. It's about repentance, yes. It's about us turning to God. But it's more, much more than that. It's about us being adopted, made brothers and sisters of Jesus Christ, to become part of the divine family. Baptism confers this wonderful privilege upon us all to be brothers and sisters of Jesus. But then this line, "This is my beloved Son." Well, how does that apply to us and our baptism? Perhaps it's something of a declaration. You see, it's, yes, that God speaks to you and me in our baptism and says, "You're my child, you're my daughter, you're my son." But he actually says it to everybody. And every time we see a baptism, God is saying to all of those who are there, "This is my son. This is my daughter, whom I adopt." And it's telling us that he sees such potential in us. He sees such great things. He sees the wonders that we will be able to accomplish with his help. In our baptism, God not only speaks to us, but to everyone, and says, "You will be amazed by what this person will achieve." Who does God speak to? He speaks to you and me and says we're his children. He speaks to the world and says, "Just see what they can do."